let's adjust this a bit. Ayan. I think we're now live. Let me just double check the connection on our YouTube studio. Yes, I think we're now live. Okay, so hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Justin Cappuccino, Sashes&Scripts. And this evening, we are going to be talking about our not necessarily wish list, but the things that we are wanting to happen or wanting to see at the Binibining Pilipinas finals this July 7th. Okay, so for this live stream, I think we need first to do a update, a quick notes on pageant updates and what's going on in the world of pageantry. Before we jump into the main topic for this evening. Okay? So, sige, magkamustahan muna tayo sa comment section. Okay, so Ping is always the first one here. Hello Ping, sabi niya magandang gabi po sa lahat ng mga ka-scripters. Bigyan natin ng like o thumbs up ang what do you call this? Ang live stream natin ngayon, and thank you very much Ping for always being the first one to plug our live stream na tawag ito na among the commenters. Okay, Ribo Tobias is here, sabi niya good evening po Sir Jason. Travel Junkie is also here, so magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Magandang gabi Ribo Tobias. And Travel Junkie, I hope na you have more than enough time dyan sa tawag ito, dyan sa kung nasaan ka man ngayon, dahil we have a lot of things to discuss aside from the Binibining Pilipinas na wish list, but we also have some additional updates on certain mga pageants na tawag ito na kasalukuyang nagaganap. Okay, Binibining International is here. Hello, Sir Jason. Binibining International present. Thank you very much, Binibini, for always being very active, not only in our Instagram, but also now in our YouTube. Saldi Salen is also here. Sabi niya, good evening, Sir Jason. Hello, good evening, Saldi. I hope na-enjoy mo yung ating live stream this evening. Michelle Lau is here. Magtagalog na lang kayo, te, para mas natural, mas okay. Tama na ang pa-smart effect, pa-conyo effect. Okay, Michelle Lau, I think we need to also start talking about smart shaming because that's exactly what you're doing. This is not a assault on the Filipino language, but rather to elevate yung discourse natin on pageantry. When we keep on telling people to magtagalog ka na lang, na hindi mo bagay mag-English, let's not take away the option for other people to talk in languages that is probably not common to the ear for everyone, because it allows us to elevate the way that we talk about pageants. And gusto ko lang din ipaalam that it is very unique, it's very uniquely Filipino that we do smart shaming. Na sometimes it's very annoying when people would say na ikaw na yung magaling, ikaw na yung marunong mag-Ingles. That's not it. I get this kind of treatment in some of the people that I meet around, and hindi ito how to say this, it's not helping anyone to lower down your intellect, your capacity to shine, to be intelligent in a global scale or even at a national scale, because there is no such thing as you being glorified for being so small, for shrinking, that you become a non-identity. Okay, so let's even ako na I admit I have stuttering problems. wag naman natin tanggalin sa mga tao na iangat yung level ng diskurso by using languages, foreign languages, by using other languages that is not common to the masses. Because if you are being, if when you are thrust into the limelight where you need to speak and be intelligent about something, take that opportunity. Okay? And this is one of the platforms where I feel na kinakailangan iangat natin yung intellectual na kapasidad natin, because pageants are a mass market entertainment and we need to elevate that in order for the market to understand beyond what they see and to understand stuff that a very narrow perspective only allows them to. Okay? So, wag nating Michelle Lau, wag nating i-limit yung mga taong gustong mag-Ingles, mag-Tagalog, because this is not something that would make us, competitive, a global market. Okay? EF Chicago says, hello, caught this one live today. Thank you, EF Chicago. I hope na you participate in our discussions in this evening. Tiger B 0719 sabi niya, ako din Sir Jason, here to support. Thank you very much. Daniel P. Yuson Jr. sabi niya, Michelle Lau, bad yan po. Yes, I agree. Let's not smart shame people who try their best to elevate, mundane discussions like pageantry, because pageantry, it is not a, honestly, it's not a it's not a luxury na level kind of thinking yung market na involved in pageantry, and that is one of the things that we're trying to change, to elevate the Sashes&Scripts community to talk about relevant topics that have multiple different perspectives from both me and the community through the comment section. So wag nating ibobo yung ibaba, or not ibobo, but rather wag nating ibaba yung kakayanan natin when we can actually, shine, 'di ba? Parang there's a quote I remember that there is no such thing, I think it was by Nelson Mandela, that the world does not benefit when you dim your shine because you just want, to serve the people around you by diminishing your capacity, by diminishing your light. The world does not benefit from that. Okay? Zaldi Paulina says, hello po, good evening, magandang gabi din. Rodvin Fiel is present here. Salamat sa pag-join mo sa live stream natin ngayon, Rodvin Fiel. Sabi ni Daniel P. Yuson, you seem new here. Ganito po talagang discussion dito. Visit ka po parati para marami kayong matutunan. Bex Acosta says, hi Sir Jason. Well, hello there. I hope na ma-enjoy nyo yung ating discussion today, because we have quite a number of things to talk about. Okay, sorry, let me just read more comments here. Sabi ni Saldi Salen, what's wrong using English in the discussion in this page? Filipino and English are both official languages of the Philippines. Ross Nefed says, ibig sabihin, you have arrived, Sir Jason, kasi may basher ka na. Ha 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 ha. Supporter here since day one. Thank you, Ross Nefed. Travel Junkie, sabi niya, Ping, always first honor. Yes, sir. I love Binibini. Josh Moore says, hello po, Sir Jason. Hello, Josh Moore. Josh Moore, talagang naluloko ako every time na nakikita kinang nagko-comment because of your account name. Iba yung pumapasok sa isip ko pa nababasa ko pangalan mo eh. Cici says, may idea na po kayo sa stage design? Actually, Cici, wala pa. But yung nakita ninyo na eskwalado na stage design on what do you call this, on the socials ng Binibini, that is just a blanket na positioning kung saan yung stage, saan uupo yung mga judges, saan pupunta yung technical team and the production people. There is a part of the stage on the left-hand side of the screen nung kapag tinitignan nyo yung phone niyo that I think is going to be reserved for the media, but the stage design in itself, I am not sure if we're going to have like a short runway like we did last year, and ano yung behind the scenes na mangyayari on the stage design, if they're going to do a full ceiling to floor of the entire Araneta Coliseum. I have no idea just yet. Ayoko munang magtanong because ayokong mapahamak yung mga taong nagbibigay sa akin ng mga information behind the scenes. But I am quite sure that gagastusin nila, that the Binibining Pilipinas organization and the Araneta City, Araneta group of companies are going to pour in money and investment on the finals of the Binibining Pilipinas pageant. Okay, continuing dun sa comment ni CC, usually ang parade ay week before, ngayon 2 weeks before. So baka todo ang preparations for the last 2 weeks. I think there will be around a week and a yung prep time for that. So we are going to keep our ears on the ground because up until now, the people in the know are very mum about the plans of Binibining Pilipinas, and I don't want to spoil that as well. Bex Acosta, sabi niya, hi from from Sam Acosta's mom. Hello, Bex. Paki-greet na lang po si Tita Victoria. Good evening and welcome to our live stream this evening. Binibining International says, we are living in an era where people have the option to choose what language we are comfortable with, and the language is never a measure of intellect. Let's embrace everyone's language preferences. Salamat. Thank you very much for that, Binibining International. So, sabi ni Bex, love to listen to your viewpoints. Thank you very much. We try to give different perspectives or a different attack on certain things in pageantry so that there is more, there's more enrichment to be had when we have conversations like this. Cici says, hindi rin sa Green Gate ang end ng parade, sa Lagoon yata. I think the end of the parade will be at the main red gate of the Araneta Coliseum. And I think they might be having some activity inside Gateway. Okay, I will have to double check on that. Plus, there is also an upcoming event. What's the name? Let me check. It's supposed to be on a weekday. It's the exhibit. They will be having an exhibit this coming week. I am not sure if the Binibining Pilipinas girls will be there, but I am sure as tradition that they are there during the exhibit for one of their remaining last na public appearances for the pageant. Okay, so let's do some some updates muna. Okay, so Diyos ko, ang daming updates. Okay, isa-isahin natin. The Miss World Philippines has officially begun, and then they will be having their finals 2 weeks after the Binibining Pilipinas pageant. So, as you all know, the Miss World Philippines started their, I believe, screening somewhere around February of March this year. They had, I think, moved the final screening or the final day of application somewhere around April, and we haven't heard about that for quite a long time. However, they have made public, I think just this month, that their finals is going to be on July 19th. And they will be having a string of events leading to that event. And right now, I think the MWPH is one of those pageants that really need attention. So guys, if you are, if you're supporting, you have a candidate that you support on the Miss World Philippines, please do, support them because kailangan nila ng visibility, because right now I think this is one of the pageant systems that is severely suffering because of the the continuous decline of the Miss World brand, the main Miss World brand among Filipino fans. I've mentioned this in one of our posts lately on our socials, that among the pageant systems here, I think it's the Miss World Philippines that really is on the major decline. I know that there are some, some vloggers that would say, it's actually Binibining Pilipinas that is on the decline, or some other pageant system. But for me, personally, I feel that the Miss World Philippines system is the one that needs a lot of support at this point in time. If you haven't noticed, there's this insider na conversation among pageant media that the reason allegedly that they had to move yung kanilang mga schedules is naghihintay sila ng mga candidates from Miss Universe Philippines to cross over at Miss World Philippines para dumami yung kanilang mga candidates. And we've seen a couple of Miss Universe Philippines alums in this batch moving and crossing over to Miss World Philippines. And then we've also seen, Krishna Gagavides resigning her Miss Charm Philippines na title, and now we see her joining Miss World Philippines. So I think we really need to support this pageant, because if it weren't for Miss Universe Philippines and Binibining Pilipinas candidates crossing over to Miss World Philippines, this pageant would not have any media buzz. And it also didn't help that there are some pageant media who felt slighted with the way that they are invited in their to cover their events, and these are things that during the time ni Madam Cory Carino, alaga ang media under Madam Cory. And I remember the last time that I covered the Miss World Philippines na pageant was during I think during 2016. It was during Catriona Gray's time. They had an event in around Quezon City, I believe. And then si Madam Cory maasikaso sa media, sinisigurado niya na may pakain, sinisigurado niya na at the end of the event may pasobre siya. So I think yung alaga ni Madam Cory kakaiba, and I think that is one of the things that a lot of pageant media in the Philippines is missing with Miss World Philippines nowadays. Okay, so I do hope the fans would be more supportive of not only the candidates but the pageant system as well, because on my end, sa dami ng pageants na nangyayari ngayon, I cannot dedicate my time to cover all of them. And I am the type of person that when I focus on one coverage, one or two coverage simultaneously, I do give my best in terms of quality of content and quality of output when I do cover those pageants. That is why if you look at my social media feeds, they are quite very aesthetically pleasing, because I do dedicate time to make sure people, when they go to my socials, they get a very an experience, so to speak. Okay. Okay, aside from that, there is also the Mr. Supranational and Miss Supranational that is currently going. Na tingin ko, lahat tayo parang deadma in terms of coverage. Even other, big blogs or big name na mga tao ito, na mga pageant media and personalities do very little na mga updates on those. So I do hope that kapag medyo makaluwag-luwag na tayo, we'll be able to do some coverage on that as well. The only problem that I had with Supranational is that sabay na sabay siya with Binibining Pilipinas this year, and that is also the reason why it's kind of difficult for me to be on top of what's going on with them, because I also have my day job. In fact, next week is submission of grades for one of the schools, so medyo ngarag ang beauty ni Watashi because of that. But I will try to do some updates maybe the week after. once na medyo nakaluwag na tayo, because this week, incoming week as well, is the finals of the Mr. International Philippines, and up until now hindi ko pa natatapos yung mga deliverables ko in my coverage of that pageant itself. In fact, my pondo of updates is only apparently up until today. Yung mga materials that is supposed to be posted for Mr. International Philippines for tomorrow and the week after, nakapending pa pala siya. So, kinakailangan ko honestly na maghabol. Aside from that, I think right now, the only people that I see being quite published or having a lot of publicity in the Mr. and Miss Supranational na pageant is for the women's is the representative from Czech Republic. I think Czech Republic is really having a renaissance when it comes to their representatives this year. They won Miss World lately. And they crowned really gorgeous winners this year. So I'm hoping, that mapansin sila in Miss International and in Miss Universe as well, because they really did crown a bumper crop of beauties in their respective na in their local na pageant. So among the girls, I think it's Miss Czech Republic that we really need to take notice of. In the men's department, I have a little bit of bias with the Venezuelan male representative at Mr. Supranational. He is really good looking. He's kind of all out of the box na representative for Mr. Supranational, because he is, I think, if hindi siya sacristan or he is, on the way to being a priest or already a priest, ang galing ng packaging niya for his competition. So I would not be surprised if this year we have the second Venezuelan supranational winner because of him. Who really is, a hunky, good-looking guy. So I am really very much na invested kung ano yung magiging outcome ng kanyang pageant journey at Mr. Supranational. Among the Asian candidates, the ones that I hear quite a lot of is the Thai na mga representatives, and I do hope na ang Team Pilipinas humabol. I don't think Brandon is very much popular among Filipino pageant fans. Same with Alethea Ambrosio, na sana na-build nila yung kanilang mga following before competing at Mr. and Miss Supranational, because there is an influencer challenge of the pageant where I think it's the Thai representative for the males that won the challenge. Sa ladies, hindi ko masyado matandaan kung sino. So, maybe it's India. I'm not sure. So, I do hope that humabol naman ang Team Pilipinas kahit papano. Okay, so as I was saying, we actually have a poll dito sa ating dito sa ating live stream that I posted earlier before we started our bago tayo nag-start na dumaldal. And I wanted to ask you yung question na what would be the things that you want to see at the Binibining Pilipinas Coronation Night on July 7. And I gave you 4 options. Either you want to have a top 16 or a top 20 for the competition this year. There's the second option where we all wanted a long runway with a fabulous stage, much like what we saw at the press presentation earlier this month. And then there is the option that we wanted the Miss International winners from the Philippines to be highlighted on the stage. And there is another option where a national costume opening would be ideal for the pageant. Okay? So right now, looking at your voting, 39% of you wants to have a top 16 or a top 20 na semi-finalists for the pageant. 33% of you wants a long runway 19% of you says we want to have the Miss International winners from the Philippines in the stage. And then 8% is saying na gusto namin national costume yung opening ng Binibining Pilipinas this year. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue muna with the last update that I wanted to discuss and talk about, because this is a topic on fashion. As you all know, the Haute Couture Fashion Week is happening starting on Monday, the 24th of June. Medyo inagahan nila yung timetable ng haute couture showing nila this year because of the Olympics. Usually, the Haute Couture Fashion Week would happen at around the first week or second week of July. But because of the Olympics, the timetables needs to be moved in advance because they don't want na sumagasa siya doon sa mismong Olympics na opening and the duration of the Olympics. So this is the reason why the July schedule is moved earlier. And if you noticed, Heart Evangelista is already there since earlier this week. Itong week ng June 17 to 23, because that is the Paris Men's Fashion Week. And she mentioned during her live on Instagram when we asked her if kailan ang alis niya papuntang Paris for the Haute Couture na Fashion Week, and she mentioned na she's actually going earlier than that pa because of the Men's Fashion Week. And right now, if you've seen yung kanyang mga posts on socials, she attended the Kenzo na fashion event. I think she was also there for the Louis Vuitton na show. She was also invited doon sa very exclusive na Louis Vuitton dinner with Pharrell Williams. Pharrell Williams, as you all know, is not just a prolific na singer at this point in time, but also the creative director for the menswear ng Louis Vuitton. So that shows you, the talent and the capacity, creative capacity of Pharrell Williams, and we're just lucky that Heart Evangelista was invited to that. Another celebrity sighting on the Filipinos na side is oh my God, I forgot yung pangalan ng twin brother ni Richard Gutierrez. Mon. I think it's Mon Gutierrez. Raymond Gutierrez was also at the Louis Vuitton fashion show. If I'm not mistaken, katabi niya si Heart doon sa menswear na show. I also seen James Reid as a house friend of Gucci being invited with their fashion show in menswear fashion show as well. So we'll expect that the menswear fashion week in Paris would continue until the 23rd of June, and that is why that's also the reason why Heart Evangelista has a very full schedule from menswear to Paris, and then maybe later baka yung tawag ito, yung Milan fashion. No. I think the Milan Fashion Week is the menswear Milan Fashion Week is already finished. It's usually a week before the Paris Men's Fashion Week. So haute couture na yung tawag ito, yung pupuntahan niya later on. I think she is invited with the first show of the season, which is Schiaparelli. She's also going to be there for Dior. I remember that Dior, the House of Dior gave her like a sketch earlier in the month of, was it May or April? And she posted that on her socials. So we're expected na custom made yung gagamitin niya for the Dior Haute Couture. We're also expecting her to be at least 2 or 3 other shows ng Haute Couture na calendar. The minimum is, I think, around 5 or 6 yung pupuntahan niya. Haute Couture Fashion Week, I think she was like at the 8 or 12 na number. So I'm expecting, pretty much the same number. I've also heard that former Miss Universe Pia Wurtzbach is going to be at the Stefan Roland show ng Haute Couture Week, which is, I think, happening around the second day of the couture shows. So there's, Filipino representation in terms of the couture week na schedule, na calendar. Okay, so now let's talk about Binibining Pilipinas because I think that is the main point na nandito tayong lahat. Okay, so nasaan ang ating mga comment section because there's quite a number na hindi ko na nabasa. Okay, okay. Comment section, wait, let's see. Nasaan na ba tayo? Okay, sabi ni, before we go and jump in doon sa ating wish list or the things that we hope to see at the finals, let's do a quick run through of the comment section muna and then we'll jump in doon sa main topics because there are 4 main points that I wanted to see, or rather I want to see for happening at the Binibining Pilipinas finals. Okay? So, sandali lang ha. Let's just check yung comment section. Okay. Ayan. So, there it is. Sabi ni Binibining International, Sir Jason, last year, nung Binibining Pilipinas 2023, lahat ng pages is si Tricia Martinez ang Miss International. Do you see the same trend or baka iba-iba ang prediction this year? That's the beauty of this year's patch because wala kang tulak kabigin on who are the girls that are going to be possible winners. Unlike last year, a lot of pageant pages were pointing out on like the likes of Tricia Martinez, the likes of Ana Valencia Lacrini as possible winners. And then, come finals night, binulaga tayo with the main title. So, I think that for this year, we have a very varied and a wide array of beauties that can be the next Binibining Pilipinas International and Binibining Pilipinas Globe. Now, for me, personally, I think that maybe it's high time that we send a Morena at the Miss Globe, a tall, model-esque Morena at the Miss, at the Miss Globe na pageant. And I am still at the fence whether or not we follow up another Morena for Binibining Pilipinas International or we do a mestiza. And the reason for that, it's because, one, there are a lot of Morenas na de kalidad. May tinapos, may may kwento, na may kakayahan na makipagbardagulan in terms of beauty, pasarela, Q&A ability come finals. Here's the thing. I cannot say if Sam Acosta is Morena or Mestiza because pag pinaputi mo siya, kamukha niya si Maxine Medina. Kapag pinatan mo siya, she looks like a husky and dusky na version ni Maxine either way. So with Binibining Pilipinas this year, I think there is still that, are we going to have dumalaw yung pusa ng ng pamangkin ko. Her name's Bullet, and sorry, na-distract lang ako kasi madalas siyang dumadalaw siya ngayon dito sa apartment. But anyway, so going back with the with the Mestiza versus Morena na tawag ito na argument in Binibining Pilipinas this year, I am at the fence whether or not saan ako pipili because there are so much options that we are spoiled for choice when it comes to the kind of possibilities. Because on the Morena side, there's Samantha Acosta, there's Mirna Esguerra, there's Cara Villarosa, who was for me a revelation during the National Costume Show. And then there's also Kimberly Velasco de Luna, who with her resume, definitely magandang iba to yan sa Miss International. Then there's also the wide array of mestiza who seems to be like on the hunt for a win this year after they were denied a crown last year. And leading the pack, I would say Tricia Martinez, Jasmine Bungay, a very a very established na na OFW who at some point in her career was a model for Michael Cinco in Dubai. That is also the reason why yung nagdadamit sa kanya ngayon is si Harvey Sanit, who is a Dubai-based na, or was it Oman-based or Qatar-based na Filipino designer. Either way, Jasmine Bungay is one of those girls na aabangan mo, aantabayanan mo, because she really has very good model-esque na proportions, and she really looks tall on stage. And then there's also Vera Dixon na with her very mestiza na beauty. That is something that I think the Japanese judges would appreciate. There's also Phoebe Godinez. There's also Talajin de la Cruz, who I think for me, being very raw and very young, it would serve if she was selected this year, polish her presentation, polish everything from her pasarela to her projection until she's ready for for competition next year. There's also Lizelle Jones, who is one of the more more reserved na mga binibini this year, but really has the potential as a possible winner. And then ang dami pang mga gandang girls like na on the fence kung mestiza ba o morena ang labas niya o chinita, much like let's say Shaira Rona, who kapag pinaputi mo, she would look really very chinita mestiza, and there's a lot of girls like Monica Acuño na pag pinatan mo, she would perfectly look well as a morena. And then there's also yung katulad ni Rowella Frias Solis, na ang mukha is very Meiji Cruz, Mutia Datol, that can be very chinita in yung packaging or very mestiza yung packaging depending on the way that she is styled. So this year with Binibining Pilipinas, it is anybody's ball game. It can go either way, mestiza or morena, and it will all depend on fluidity and strong performances and consistency come Coronation Night. So I think ito yung masasabi ko na hindi natin alam kung sino yung mananalo. The ball is it's essentially anybody's ball game at this point in time. So even if let's say maglalabas ako later on ng what do you call this, ng listahan ko for the possible crown contenders, even at this point, hindi ko talaga masabi who is going to be the one that is essentially the front runner for the titles. It can play on either side of the coin. We might see another morena like Mirna Esguera as Binibining Pilipinas International, and I wouldn't have any problem with that. We might see another mestiza after a long line of mestizas representatives as at Miss International, after Nicole Borromeo, Hannah Arnold. We might be seeing someone like let's say Tricia Martinez, na with her degree as a dental doctor, she can do something with that with that background for the title. We might even be seeing former Binibining Pilipinas doppelgangers like Samantha Acosta, who really looks like a sister of Maxine Medina, running off with the main title. Or we might be seeing, someone like Jasmine Bungay, who is like a cross of Binibining Pilipinas World, Gilrea Quinzon, and Barbie Shu of the Meteor Garden fame, running with the main title. So at this point in time, it is anybody's ball game, and I would urge any of the girls and their teams not to drop the ball this close to the finals. This is the time where magpakitang gilas na kayo. Do everything that you need to do on the socials para mapansin kayo ng mga fans. Do everything that you can do in your daily na mga activities to be noticed by the Abanico girls, by the BPCI organization. And you know, this is not the time na mag-attitude kayo dahil ito yung oras na dahil sa pressure, may mga girls na nagmamalditan na nagpapakita ng kanilang hindi kagandahang ugali, and that is going to be something na the organization, whether it's the black boys, whether it's the security, na hihingan ng mga tao sa organization for feedback on professionalism, on attitude. Kasi ito yung kinakailangan nilang makita bago sila mag-evaluate ng mga possible na mga winners. And I think this is the year where maraming magpapatayan, not just because of the title, but rather because of the million cash prize na winnings, as well as the opportunity na makapag-compete at an international competition. Okay? Now, Rebo Tobias is asking, is saying na sana may long runway sa stage ng Binibining Pilipinas Finals Night. I am hoping for that as well. It's one of the things that I have requested year in, year out for Binibining Pilipinas, and I am glad that na pinaunlakan nila tayo during the press presentation, because nakita natin na yung mga girls across the board, they're actually quite good when it comes to their pasarela. It's just the transition perhaps of their poses that needs a little bit of work. But in terms of pasarela, as a batch as a whole, walang nahuhuli, walang mediocre yung walk. Lahat sila halos pare-parehan ng range ng capability. Okay? Wait. Rebo Tobias is asking, ngayon po na finals night ng Miss Manila, yun po bang mananalo dito sa Miss World laban next year? I think so. If I'm not mistaken, most of the Miss Manila winners would cross over at Miss World Philippines, which is, I think, good, kasi it means na kahit papano may pool of candidates na pwedeng paghugutan ang Miss World Philippines. Okay, Rodvin Fiel is saying his Binibining Pilipinas wishlist is that number 1, the format. Top 16 for swimsuit and evening competition, top 8 for Q&A, and then top 4 for final speech. Bali, like the olden times na pag nakapag top 5 ka na sa Binibining Pilipinas, labanan na lang siya ng placement. Number 2, production value. They are on the right track this far. They just have to keep it up and rehearse the camera angles. Now, sabi naman ni Josh Moore, sino tong pinapatungkulan mong na persona non grata sa Araneta at BBP, Josh Moore? I am not familiar with that. Okay, Tony Manapol says, what are you talking about po? I'm late, sorry. Okay, we'll be talking about the Binibining Pilipinas Binibining Pilipinas na wish list, or the things that we want to see in the finals. Okay? Binibining International says, sana sir, sa entourage ng mga past queens sa Binibining Pilipinas, if meron last na lalabas ang 5 Miss International with the first Miss International, Madam Stella Araneta. I have something about that na i-discuss ko later, kasi it's one of my 4 wish list. Okay? Sana yung ating next na tawag nito, comment, ito na nga lang sa phone. Sabi ni Tony Manapol, hello po from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Hello and good, I'm assuming it's good morning or good afternoon there. Ribo Tobias, paano? Saan po ba nagsimula ang Heart versus Pia in terms of fashion? Nung lumipat po ba ang glam team ni Heart kay Pia? That is a conversation that is best reserved for a different time. But if you want, we have a content on the Heart versus Pia na feud that we posted, I think, somewhere around the month of February. Me and Mark Sobrajahani discussed this in depth, so I do hope you go and check that out. Para tawag ito, makita mo muna yung tawag ito, yung start ng feud na to, okay? And I think the feud is more a feud of the fandom rather than the two ladies. Yes, CC, as like I said, it's still anybody's ball game ang Binibining Pilipinas, expect the unexpected. Kiisa says, nice discussion, Sir Jason. Looking forward to the 60th Binibining Pilipinas Coronation Night. Okay, sige, siguro, I think we should start na muna doon sa ating mga topics. I actually have like 4 wish lists. For the Binibining Pilipinas finals this July 7th. In terms of the production value, wala akong maihingi na hindi na naibigay ng Binibining Pilipinas. We've seen during the Binibining Pilipinas finals in 2021, 2021 and 2022 at kaya nilang mag-elevate up. Nung nagkaroon ng comments about the smoke na naging hazy and madilim yung stage, they removed that the year after. And then when we wanted, an elevated na competition, they gave that up. They gave us that in 2022 from their press presentation, where we saw for the first time in Philippine pageant history LED on the flooring of the stage. So I think in terms of innovation, Binibining Pilipinas is quite there, is leading the pack, so to speak, when it comes to their production values. If you look at their mga recent na yung last 2 nilang mga pageants, it didn't register as dark in stage, very bright and malinaw yung kanilang mga stage and yung kanilang production, very fast paced. So I don't have any issues or any problems with the way that they do their production. Aika Events, who is in charge of the Binibining Pilipinas finals production last year, is coming back for the finals ng Binibining Pilipinas this year. So kampante ako that they will deliver the kind of production values that we expected with Binibining Pilipinas. In terms naman doon sa mga things like stage design, I also, just like you, hope to have a long runway. However, that is not something I think that a lot of the management in Binibining Pilipinas is too keen on, because kapag mahaba ang stage, mahaba yung runway, masyadong malayo yung mga judges from the girls. And that would negatively impact the girls in terms of when they are judging for beauty of face, for example, looking at the facial transitions ng mga candidates when they're doing their pasarela. So I think there will be some sort of innovation on the stage design. That is why if you look at the TicketNet na image that they've posted on the different sections of the finals, the Araneta Coliseum, hindi pa sila nag-reveal ng anong possible na magiging itsura ng finals na stage. So I am just waiting, like you guys, that ayoko munang mag-splook dahil ayoko mawalan ng credentials sa Binibining Pilipinas at hindi tayo ma-invite sa kanilang mga events. Now, there are 4 things that I wanted desperately to have in Binibining Pilipinas this year. And the first one is something that sentimiento ko na nitong nakaraang taon, because I wanted that, because they only have 2 titles remaining at Binibining Pilipinas. I was hoping that for this year, they would give enough importance on the runners-up as well, that they give them their final walks for Binibining Pilipinas 2024. I think this is stemming from the fact that every time that there is a Binibining Pilipinas event in the past year, all 4 winners are usually present. Kung hindi man tatlo, hindi nagiging dalawa lang yung mga girls na nandoon. Unless it is a gig, like a hosting gig, where syempre they would only pick maybe 1 or 2 na mga girls to do hostings for these specialized na mga events around the Araneta City na complex. So this time around, because of yung dedication and visibility of 2 runners-up, I am hoping that Binibining Pilipinas would also allow them their moment on stage to say their final messages as they do their final farewell walk, kumbaga, in the finals later on. Even if they're just given, a 30-second na exposure in terms of yung kanilang messages, that would be more than enough. As long as we acknowledge yung presence ni na Atasha Rain at saka ni Christina Johnson, na mabigyan sila ng importansya, just as they given importance with their reigns with Binibining Pilipinas. You see them, always there during important events. And I do hope that as a pageant community ng Binibining Pilipinas, they would also give, these girls the queenly treatment, even if they are there as runners-up. Because if they say that once a binibini, always a binibini, then perhaps it's time to extend yung courtesy na yon to the runners-up, even if they don't get to compete internationally, or they don't have a specific title for themselves. I believe na when you only have like 2 na titles remaining, it also gives, importance to the runners-up, especially now that yung mga prizes ng mga runners-up this year is actually bigger in terms of value as compared to, let's say, in 2017 or in 2018, na yung prize winning ng mga runners-up this year is actually bigger in value compared to the crowned winners, some of the crowned winners in previous na mga years. Isipin mo, Binibining Pilipinas Universe 10 years or during the period ni na Venus Ra, is ang cash prize nila is 120,000 pesos. This time around, yung 120,000 pesos na yon, ang layo ng agwat dun sa almost 500,000 na prize winning ng mga runners-up ng Binibining Pilipinas this year. And even yung cash prize ni na Atasha at saka ni Katrina Johnson, ang layo ng 250,000 pesos versus the 120,000 pesos na cash prize ng Binibining Pilipinas Universe nung panahon ni na Bianca Manalo and Venus Ra. So maybe it's high time that we give that kind of importance as well to the roles of the runners-up, because they not only did their jobs as runners-up but also supported the organization by being visible in major events. Okay? The next na wish list that I would want to see at the Binibining Pilipinas na finals this year is, I want them to open the pageant with all 40 candidates, even if it's just a pre-taped or a pre-recorded segment, an opening in their national costumes, and make it like a national costume montage. Sorry, it's not montage, it's montage. Kamamaya may mga grammar natin na naman tayo na hindi po Auri ang pronunciation niya. It's actually awry. Okay, so it's montage. Okay, so we're hoping that for the opening of Binibining Pilipinas this year, they would have all 40 candidates in a national costume montage that is pre-recorded, because I believe 2 days back, the candidates had an intramuros visit, and maybe, part of it is, cultural immersion, but I also hope that, a small portion of my head is hoping na sana kahit papano, they use their national costumes to have their openings at the, or a recorded na, video for their opening na billboard in their national costumes. So I am hoping for that. Tapos naka-national costume sila doon sa pre-recorded the video, and pagdating doon sa actual na live na stage, they're wearing their opening dresses. So it kind of gives it a little bit of a it looks like may change, a costume change na nangyari, but it's actually a pre-recorded one. So I am hoping for that, especially because Binibining Pilipinas is a pageant that is rooted in culture and tradition, and perhaps we would also want that Binibining Pilipinas would focus on that as well, on culture and tradition, by whether it's by kausuotan, by the costumes that they wear, whether it's through using mga locals here in the Philippines, whether it's intramuros or perhaps a shoot at the Las Casas de Acozar. I hope that we have this kind of mga shoots that would expose the younger generation of pageant fans with tradition and culture in the Philippine setting. Because unlike before, I remember during my time as a kid, part of the cultural immersion that we had is that we have like a after school activity that teachers would have a traditional folklore or folk dance troupe that gets to compete regional wise, provincial wise, in terms of yung exposure nila. And we learned more about our culture. We learned about the importance of knowing yung mga stories and mga ugat kung saan nanggaling yung mga tradition natin on dances. Like for example, the tinikling. This is a dance that is based on the bird that they call tikling, and they use the bamboos in order to catch yung mga ibon na ito. And that is why for the tinikling na dance, you have to jump over and be agile, avoiding to have your foot stuck in between the bamboo poles. And then we've also learned that the singkil, which is based on the traditional na Indian na Ramayana folklore, was a courtship dance for the royalties in our mga for our Muslim na mga brothers in Maguindanao and in Mindanao, where the princess, the one who plays the role of the princess, is having to ang kwento dun is kinakailangan niyang iiwasan yung mga falling ng mga trees while there was an earthquake in the forest, and the prince is trailing behind her to save her, and the very graceful na way of the princess and her attendant to weave through the falling mga bamboo na mga trees and in the forest is translated with the way that she is able to gracefully maneuver herself among crisscrossing ng mga bamboos for the singkil. So these kinds of cultural immersion is very important nowadays because a lot of our younger generation have no idea on the traditions and where they come from, the Filipino traditions and the stories and history behind them. And I think Binibining Pilipinas is in a very good position to partner with perhaps the NCAA, with Catriona as the ambassador there, to include it in the immersion of culture for not only the candidates but also use it in their socials so that they are able to reach a younger audience and explain and showcase to these people that ang daming kultura ng Pilipinas na hindi nakikita ng kabataan ngayon, that they can actually sink their teeth in and learn more about being a Filipino citizen, and learn more about our past so that there is a sense of pride with the way that we portray our being Filipinos. So I think if in case na mabigyan natin ng highlight na yon in Binibining Pilipinas, whether it's through using of backdrops of historical landmarks in the Philippines, I think that's well and good, and it allows us to have a better understanding of our culture and heritage. Now, the second thing that I wanted to happen in Binibining Pilipinas this year is that there is a feature on all international Miss International winners, or kahit na hindi Miss International but all international winners of the Binibining Pilipinas pageant from its inception in 1964 until present. So maybe we can bring out mga titles na hindi pa natin naririnig, like the Miss Globe International and the Miss Globe World na pinanulunan ni na Maricar Balagtas and Michelle oh my God, I forgot the last name. Kapwa runner-up din ni Maricar Balagtas in the 2000s before Maricar became Binibining Pilipinas Universe a year or two after. And then maganda rin siguro na we highlight our two Miss Intercontinental winners, si Karen Galman and I forgot si sorry, apologies for that. Biglang na mental block ako sandali. So, we have two Miss Intercontinental winners. We have two current na Miss Globe winners. We have 4 Miss Universe winners courtesy of Binibining Pilipinas. We have 5 Miss International winners from Binibining Pilipinas aside from Gemma Cruz, who was, I think, a Miss Philippines na alum. So there's a lot of girls over the years, winners over the years na nanggaling sa Binibining Pilipinas. And I remember we used to have mga winners na ang title nila very like Miss Miss Black Sea Tourism, something like that, with Christine Alzar. And then meron pa tayong, I remember Eileen Damiles was a second runner-up in Miss Coffee or something. And these are mga lesser known na mga pageants during that time that a lot of our girls excelled in actually. So I think I'm there's a lot of mga smaller na mga pageants na hindi natin masyado alam at this point in time na sana ma-highlight din sa atin ngayon. I remember Maan Bayot was second runner-up at Miss Maha International. Then I think we also have a Miss Tourism World under, I think it was Rachel Soriano. So these are things na I hope na ma-highlight din ng mga ng mga pamunuan ng Binibining Pilipinas and the production team, because we also want to know more about these ladies, na hindi lang yung mga main titles ang mga mga nananalo ang nabibigyan ng pansin. as of now, we also have a Miss Supranational winner, courtesy of Mutia Datol. So I do hope that in the upcoming na mga tawag ito, na mga events, unti-unti natin silang mabigyan ng importansya, especially with Binibining Pilipinas celebrating its 60th year. Okay? I also hope that yung there was this spiel kasi during the press presentation where they mentioned that Binibining Pilipinas is going to feature 100 beauty queens from their 60-year history that will be highlighted in their finals. So I am hoping how they are going to do that, how they are going to make the highlight, if it's going to be a highlight reel, or we will see on the stage during the finals 100 mga former Binibining Pilipinas winners. So that would be a sight to behold, because it's going to be probably the largest na gathering ng any beauty queens, national beauty queens in any pageant all over the world. I think Binibining Pilipinas lang yung may kapasidad na magpakitang gilas ng ganong karaming winners throughout their 60-year history. Okay? And mind you din kasi, starting in 1968 or 1969, there are 2 winners ng Binibining Pilipinas. And from then on, never na nagkaroon ng one title lang from Binibining Pilipinas in the years after that. So imagine if you have winners from 1969 or 1968 until present na parating 2, 3, or 4 yung kanilang mga main winners, whether they had Miss Young International, Miss International, Miss Universe, Miss World na mga franchises. A lot of, and before we also have like Miss Maha International, Binibining Pilipinas Maha. I think yung 100 na mga winners from their 60-year history, kayang-kaya nilang bunuin yon. Okay? I think some of you have mentioned yung sana makita lahat ng Miss International winners from the Philippines, including Madam SMA. I am hoping for that as well, but right now, the last time that we saw Madam Stella, she was very fragile. She's like around 80 plus na. So, syempre, when you're at your 80 plus na age, you really are going to look very fragile. So, I am hoping na health and well-being muna ang i-prioritize ng Binibining Pilipinas. But we are hoping and praying that Madam Stella is in good health conditions, that she may grace the finals come July 7. Okay? Okay, here's another additional, na point, sub-point doon sa sana ma-feature lahat ng mga international winners ng Binibining Pilipinas. We also hope na maybe around 50% of the judging panel is going to be comprised of past winners ng Binibining Pilipinas na titles. Whether it's World, International, Universe, or even yung mga lesser known na mga titles like Maha, Young International, Intercontinental, etc. Sana merong mga winners ng Binibining Pilipinas Binibining Pilipinas, mga past and present franchises on the judging table. So I am hoping as well na even the likes of like Maureen Montaigne are given, opportunities to sit at the judging table, because that would be a delight to have. Okay? Wait lang. Let's go check yung ating comment section before siguro tapusin na muna natin, buuin na natin lahat ng mga wish list natin, because on top of our list this year is we're hoping to have either a top 16 or a top 20 na semi-finalists in Binibining Pilipinas 2024. And our reason for that, it's because I I understand yung rationale ng Binibining Pilipinas and the production team that kapos sila sa oras, so they only get a top 10 out of a top 40 na pool of candidates. However, with a very competitive number of candidates this year, plus a very, hallmark na edition ng Binibining Pilipinas 60th anniversary, I am hoping that they would expand yung kanilang pool of semifinalists from a top 10 to top 16 or even top 20. If hindi nila napapansin na after the top 20 or the top 10 is announced, nababawasan ng malaking porsyento yung araneta ng mga manonood once that their candidates are cut off. Imagine 30 candidates are cut off in a pool of 40 with the percentage of their supporters leaving after wala na sa semifinal lists yung mga sinusuportahan nilang kandidata. Ang laking kawalan yon sa doon sa doon sa mga nanonood on the venue. Maingay kung maingay, I agree. Yung mga naiiwan doon sa doon sa Araneta Coliseum kapag natawag na ang top 10. But iba pa din yung ingay kapag puno at nandun lahat yung 40 na candidate, supporters ng 40 na candidates. So I am hoping that for this year, at the least the pageant can do is to acknowledge yung efforts ng mga candidates by expanding the number of semifinalists to a top 20 or kung hindi talaga kaya, a top 16 or a top 15. That way, they can have a top 20 for the swimsuit and a top 10 for the for the evening gown competition, and then maybe a top 5 or a top 4 for the Q&A. That way, unti-unti na whittle off yung mga candidates in terms of the possibilities na mabawasan yung mga nanonood. I am hoping na makinig naman sana this time around ang Binibining Pilipinas, because every time that I do my review year in and year out, ito yung parating pain point that I keep on mentioning. Every year, I keep on mentioning na sana kahit papano we get a top 13, top 15, not top 13, a top 15 or a top 16, because this is giving, acknowledgement on the hard work of the candidates because sila yung bumubuhay sa pageant. I think that the stubbornness of Binibining Pilipinas needs to hear out this point, because you want to highlight the pageant, but you need also to highlight yung efforts ng mga candidates in the competition, and the only way that you can give it back to them for all their investment on the Binibining Pilipinas brand is to expand yung mga semi-finalists ng Binibining Pilipinas on the finals night. So I do hope that they think this through, find ways to make this work, dahil mawawalan ng kwenta na inimbitahan mo lahat ng mga past queens mo kung yung current pool of queens and candidates that you have don't get the limelight, the spotlight they truly deserve come final. So I do hope that the Binibining Pilipinas organization, BPCI, ICA Productions, would find a work around this and really highlight a top 16 or even a top 20 in Binibining Pilipinas this year. Okay? Now, let's go over the comment section at mukhang sandali lang. Mukhang na tayo. Naka-isang oras na rin pala tayo at mahigit sa ating live stream. Okay, so let's go over some comments here. Ang dami ng mga comments. Wait, Let me just scroll down. The last na comment I think we had was with Kiisa. Sabi ni Kiisa, okay. Nice discussion, Sir Jason. Looking forward to the 60th Coronation Night. Ribo Tobias is saying, sana magandang background music sa swimsuit at evening gown segment sa Binibining Pilipinas Finals at bonggang opening number. I have this feeling na for the evening gown, it's going to be a serenade by Gary Valenciano and Martin Rivera. Tapos, they might be using a song by SB19 for either the opening number or the swimsuit competition. So either way, tiba-tiba tayo dahil we get the best of both worlds. We get the very modern na P-pop kings, SB19, and then we also get, the OPM legends like Martin and Gary V. So I think win-win situation siya kung bumili ka ng ticket. It also makes sense na ganun din kamahal yung ticket this year dahil we get the best entertainment and we also get the best na the best na pageant stage, I assume, for the finals. Sabi ni Binibining International, Justin Felizarta, Graciela Lehman, Gianna Llanes, do you think it's possible that a big frontrunner will be unplaced, hoping wala hu-hu-hu? Binibini, the thing about Binibining Pilipinas is that no placement or no crown is guaranteed. So, kung hindi mo ilaban, hindi ka nila bibigyan ng spot. And I think this is a lesson for everybody that you really need to, push until the final day yung placement mo. And you really need to showcase talaga yung willingness to be a winner from day one until the time na makoronahan ka. So, it's a matter of consistency as well. Sabi ni Josh Moore, wish list is Gloria, Margie, Pia, and Catriona in one frame. That might happen. Who knows? Baka mangyari siya sa Binibining Pilipinas this year. Sabi ni Daniel P. Yuzan, Sir Jason, segue lang ng slide. Are you going to watch the Binibining Pilipinas Finals? If yes, at makita kita, can I approach you for a photo, please? Definitely. Usually, there is a reserved seating that is given for the people the people for the media. I am hoping na sana yung spot namin on the same spot like last year kasi maganda yung spot namin doon. Okay, EF Chicago, sabi niya, I have a feeling that Martin Rivera and Gary V might sing their version of BBP theme song while the past winners are being honored and featured. That can also be a possibility. I think that would be a good, a good way din naman to, to throw it back to the history of the pageant. Sabi ni Bini International, Sir, I'll be covering the Grand Parade of Beauties tomorrow. Can I ask where is the best spot? Usually, the best spot are the spot that hindi masyado maraming tao. And usually, ang madalas na tao ito na hindi dinudumog ng mga tao is yung in between the alley mall and the alley mall and the SM na street. When way back when, yun yung madalas kasi na tao ito na pinupuntahan namin, na pinupuntahan ko for good spots nung panahon ni na Gazzini. Doon ako madalas nagtatambay starting nung panahon ni Gazzini until 2021. And then after that, meron na kasing mga designated spots for media doon sa may malapit sa stage. that was starting in, I think, 2022 or tama, 2022. Kaya hindi na ako madalas nakakapunta doon kasi kung minsan ang layo nung designated spots for the media doon sa favorite spot ko sa May Ali Mall. Okay? But there are also other spots like yung, alam niyo yung kanto ng Novotel and yung iskwaladong kanto ng Novotel, Wendy's, Cyber Park, and SM. That is also a good spot to stay. Ang problema lang doon, maraming mga gwardya at mga traffic people na kung minsan hahawiin kayo out of the way. So, timplahan nyo na lang. I think si Natita, ang hiling nilang spot is on that area. Okay? EF Chicago, sabi niya, too bad the reigning Miss Globe is not scheduled to make an appearance at Binibining Pilipinas Finals. Oh, sayang din. Kasi taga-Malaysia lang naman yung, yung tawag ito, yung winner, yung current winner. So, I don't know, maybe they are giving the limelight talaga doon sa Miss International kay Andrea Rubio. Art Loren says, I hope to see all Filipina, Miss Universe, and Miss International winners, pati na rin si Gemma Cruz. I think it's about time na mag-reconcile ang mga Aranetas with her. May issue ba before sa kanila? I'm not aware. Dagdag pa ni Art Loren, I also hope that they will also reconcile with Maria Isabel Lopez and sa mga iba pa nilang mga winners na kaalitan at na-offend nila para maging gabi ito ng unity and reconciliation. Ako, Art Loren, yung unity na yan, kung yung unity nga, si Sarah at saka si Bongbong Marcos nag-split, baka mahirap ni-achieve yan. Cici says, pag may farewell walk ang mga runners-up, tas mag-compete ulit at manalo, may farewell walk ulit next time. Oo nga, no? I did not think of it that way, but who knows? Diba? Malay mo kung mabigyan din sila ng opportunity na mag-farewell walk kahit na runner-up lang sila. But for me kasi, it's not about them having another shot to compete again the year after or 2 years after. It's more of an acknowledgement of what they have achieved last year. So kung mag-compete ulit sila the year after at manalo sila ng one of the titles, then well and good. Give them another opportunity to, do their farewell walk as crowned queens. But for me, it's more of an acknowledgement of their efforts, of their hard work as current runners-up. Because lahat ng mga events ng Binibining Pilipinas, madalas kong makita si Katrina at saka si Atasha. Sabi ni Ribo Tobias, sana merong pang TV commercial ang 40 Binibinis na ginagawa dati ng ABS-CBN. Unfortunately kasi before, ABS-CBN is in charge of the production. So, meron silang meron silang say on the promotions of the pageant. However, since nawalan na ng prangkisa ang ABS-CBN, they hardly had this anymore because hindi na nag-i-invest ang ABS-CBN on the production ng pageant. So that is also the reason why if you look at the pageant post-pandemic and post-removal of the ABS-CBN franchise, nag-hire ang Binibining Pilipinas ng production company to do their events. Okay? Cindy Obenita, yes, thank God. Thank you, Cici, for reminding us. I do hope Cindy Obenita and Karen Gallman will be invited as well, and they will be present for the 60th anniversary na show. Saan na ba? Daniel P. Yuzon Jr. says, Sir Jason, how about a parade of past winners tulad ng ginawa nila sa 2013 na finals? Or something similar na ginawa sa Miss France where the past winner showed up in matching attire? Why not? That would be a great, great thing to see na pare-pareho silang visuals on stage. But again, ang iniisip ko din kasi isang airtime So I am hoping that with all of these things na ang daming pwedeng gawin, there's a lot of history to showcase for the brand, they are able to manage their time efficiently. Dahil ang tingin ko, lahat ito maganda. Lahat itong mga suggestions na ito maganda. But I think it's the airtime that is going to be an issue because with Binibining Pilipinas, there is a lull in between the announcement of the winners versus the entirety of the competition. Nauunang nagbo-broadcast live ang Binibining Pilipinas sa Araneta Coliseum, and the telecast is slightly delayed so that kapag natapos yung deliberation, mas aligned yung what do you call this? Mas aligned yung sequence and flow of the finals dahil dire-diretso sa paningin ng mga taong nanonood on television. And mind you, Binibining Pilipinas is the last remaining national pageant that is telecast live on television. And this year, they are partnered with A2Z, PTV, Metro Channel, and oh my God, I forgot one more. There's a fourth channel that I forgot. So, isipin mo, there are 4 channels na pwede mong mapanood ang Binibining Pilipinas, and depending on the availability of these channels to you, kung wala kang internet, pwede ka pa rin manood. So, definitely, the airtime is going to be the main issue in terms of the way that they carry the pageant. Ang daming pwedeng gawin eh. Yun yung problema. Ang daming pwedeng gawin, pero ang liit ng time slot na allowed ka. Kung ang ibinigay lang sa'yo is 3 hours or 4 hours, yung problema is sometimes you have like 6 hour or 5 hours worth of content na isisiksik mo doon sa 3-hour na time slot. And ang hirap gawin nun. Ang hirap mag-edit. So, I think we need to manage our expectation dahil ang daming pwedeng gawin, ang liit ng oras. So, yun lang. Wait a minute, Dirk. Nasaan na ba tayo? Ang sabi ni Dark Flames, at the end of the competition, the judges still have the last say. Predictions are just preconditioning based on individual choices and favorites of influencers and content creators. The thing about predictions is that it also gives feedback on the candidates. So whether or not you take this seriously or you pay attention to these predictions, it's entirely up to you. For us, it is a feedback mechanism on the girls' capacity to deliver. And a feedback mechanism on how they're doing in terms of the competition. I think it's important that you give feedback to the girls so that they know where they stand in the competition. So, mararamdaman din ng mga girls yung mga yan that if they are a favorite, if they're not a favorite, ramdam din nila. They know that. They have an inclination. They have a gut feel on that. And this is also the reason why on our end, we don't do predictions, but we do these are the favorites. These are our favorites because this also gives them, like an acknowledgement that they're doing a good job. Tiger Beast 0719 says, Binibining Pilipinas also needs to acknowledge its LGBTQIA fan base throughout its 60 years. I agree. Cici says, parang same lang naman ang price ng ticket ng BBP. Yung VIP na 12,000 ay hindi naman available yata for public. Yung 8K lang pababa ang open. I think there are some tickets na reserved on the 12K na level. So, and these seats usually are very limited. Rose Nefed says, how about the coffee table book of Binibining Pilipinas? I am interested to purchase one. I haven't heard anything yet, but the last time na direct contact with, with someone from the organization was when they were asking for like a release form for some some research that I've done for the book. And the sa bagay nabanggit ko na rin naman yata previously the photo shoots na June De Leon on Catriona Gray, mga photo shoots with the likes of June De Leon and Wig Tismans, aside from Raymond Saldana and the rest of the team of Clickbox. So hintayin lang natin. For sure, there will be souvenir programs available, and I am not yet sure kailan nila ilalabas yung coffee table book. Maybe after the Binibining Pilipinas pageant na. Nasa na tayo? Jazar Vlog says, wala naman masyado gawi ang nanalo sa Miss Globe. I am not familiar kung ano yung mga activities niya. So, I think she's very active in Malaysia, but not so sure kung ano yung mga iba pang mga out of the countries niyang activities. Nasaan ba ito? Okay, ang dami ng mga comments. Sige, let's see. May mga comments here from new members, first timers, I believe, sa ating live stream. Oscar Edmond Francisco, I think, is a first time commenter. Sabi niya, I really hope Binibining Pilipinas acquires 2 more titles, whether sabi niya Cosmo and RHA sana. Cosmo is kinda difficult kasi sa kanila meron na silang established na relationship with MUPH. With RHA naman is it's the one of the few remaining ng mga franchises na hawak pa rin ni ALV. Sabi ni Cici, hindi naman yata nag-a-appear si Maureen sa mga coronation ng ibang bansa, kaya okay lang na di pumunta ang reigning na Miss Globe. Binibining International says, if we were talking about unity, let's make Shamsi Sup the face of unity? ? Will it be possible Shamsi will be featured in Binibining Pilipinas as a Binibining Pilipinas queen? This is where Binibining Pilipinas is different from any pageant systems. Whether nag-compete ka sa ibang pageant system or not, if you're a crown queen and you want to attend Binibining Pilipinas na mga functions and the finals na night, bibigyan kanila ng priority, bibigyan kanila ng seat sa sa finals. Dito naman, this is where Binibining Pilipinas is a cut above the rest because they will treat you, with grace and with dignity. Even if you cross over to other pageant systems. Okay? Nasa na ito? Sabi ni Cici, major presenter kasi ang ABS-CBN dati. Yes, that is why they are the ones in charge of the production. Renz Chan is asking, sana more international crowns. Maybe you're asking for more international franchises. I've said this like time and time again kasi gasgas na itong question na ito na sana may additional na crowns ang Binibining Pilipinas and etc. But here's the thing. Binibining Pilipinas will not get a franchise if it does not align in terms of the requirements that they want from the pageant. If this pageant is irregular, ang kanilang schedule, they don't have like yearly na competition. Like for example, Miss Asia Pacific International, lumapit yung mga yan sa Binibining Pilipinas allegedly for to have their franchise taken by Binibining Pilipinas dito sa Philippines. However, they declined because hindi naman regular na may Miss Asia Pacific International. If you look at the last time that they had a competition, it was way back in 2019 pa. So, imagine if you have a Binibining Pilipinas na hindi nakakapag-compete. Ang Binibining Pilipinas ang nasasayangan dun sa girl eh. I remember when when they crowned parol siya as Binibining Pilipinas Tourism in 2014. And hindi siya nakapag-compete dahil naglaho yung Miss Tourism International na pageant sa China. Hinanapan talaga si parol ng international competition. That is why she was appointed as Binibining Pilipinas Grand International in 2015, and siya yung kauna-unahang pinadala ng Binibining Pilipinas at Miss Grand International, where she became second runner-up after a series of resignations from the winners. So ibig sabihin nito, kapag hindi nabibigyan ng opportunity yung mga winners nila to compete internationally, because these franchises are, just like the tide. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it recedes and it's gone, sometimes it's there and it's high. So this is where Binibining Pilipinas are very cautious of international franchises that they get. Another thing is they don't want to invest on a pageant that that hasn't established itself yet, and this is also the reason why they don't get mga new na mga competitions, mga newly born na mga international pageants. Just look at the Miss Charm International. Push tayo ng push about Miss Charm International na sana kunin ng Binibining Pilipinas, and yet how many Miss Charm Philippines have we seen resigning the title because they never had the opportunity to compete? Krishna Gavides, the recent one, resigned her title because there is no announcement whether or not there will be a Miss Charm competition this year. During the time of Ashley Subiano, when she was crowned Miss Charm International in I believe it was in 2020 or 2019, wala ding nangyari sa kanya dahil 5 times nang na-postpone ang pageant during her time. It was only during the appointment of Annabelle McDonald that there was a competition. And now, with rumors that because a lot of the sponsors of Miss Charm International have moved out and went on to the Miss Cosmo International na pageant, it's even more dubious whether or not this is going to be something that's going to be a long-term competition. So imagine if they gotten those pageant franchises and then suddenly you have winners that did not have the opportunity to compete. That is the thing that Binibining Pilipinas is avoiding. They don't want na may mga masasayang na mga girls because they don't get the opportunity to compete abroad because of all of these inconsistent na staging ng pageant. So, imagine naman din yung investment ng mga girls, yung emotional investment nila na magpe-prepare for a competition that's not gonna happen. I mean, it's not it's not good to feel that all of your efforts are just for naught. All of your efforts balewala dahil naglalaho yung contest, and you cannot be a pageant girl that would put on this burden of holding your future and freezing it because there is no certainty whether or not you're gonna compete. So, ito yung iniiwasan ng Binibining Pilipinas. And I think this is also something that pageant fans needs to understand. It's not about the number of franchises that you have, but it's the quality of the pageant that you have. It's the quality of the way that you deal with your national pageant. Kasi ang mga international pageant franchises, they will come and go. If you look at the stability of local pageants here, there are some pageants na even if they have been in the country for the longest time, hindi consistent yung kanilang staging, hindi consistent yung kanilang mga quality ng candidates na sumasali sa kanila. And there are some even mga taong ito, mga pageants na susulpot ngayon, bukas makalawa, wala na. And that is not something that Binibining Pilipinas is known for. In the entire history of the Binibining Pilipinas pageant, there is only one time that they postponed or they canceled a competition because of the global pandemic. That was the only time that they skipped a year. And I think that tells you about the longevity and consistency of the Binibining Pilipinas brand, that maglalaho na ang ibang mga international competitions, mga local na mga pageants, but Binibining Pilipinas pageant will stay there, will keep on existing because it is scaffolded by the Araneta group of companies. And I think ultimately, if we're going to look at yung mga tawag ito, mga financial stability ng mga organization, I'm telling you, Binibining Pilipinas is going to be the one that would be always be in the good financial standing because they know how to manage their budgets. Okay? Sabi ni Sisi, sana naman this time ay live sa YouTube kahit sa TV lang delayed. So, let's see. Yes, PTV5. Nabanggit ko ang PTV5. Ayun, Kapamilya Channel, A to Z, and Metro. So, those are the 4 na tawag ito na mga stations that will air the Binibining Pilipinas live on July 7, sorry. Nasa na tayo? Daniel P. Yuzon Jr. says, Sir Jason, ask ko lang if you have any news about how involved is Madam SMD sa edition na ito, SMA, sa edition na ito, considering her situation, baka hindi na siya ganun ka-active. Hindi siya na ganun ka-active. A lot of her duties and responsibilities have been taken over by Ms. Irene Jose, and with the appointment of additional na mga members ng executive committee after the deaths of Pitoy Moreno, my God, I forgot the apelido ni Madam Becky. Westendorp, Betsy Westendorp. I'm sorry about if hindi ko ma-remember yung kanyang full na apelido, but they have appointed Ms. Biana Forrest and Ms. Pia Ojeda as new members of the organization. Nasaan na tayo? Okay, Cici says, yung collage ng 60 Queens ay parang mostly mga nag-play sa international competition. Di ko lang gets ba't andun si Hipon. Nasa cover photo ng Binibining Pilipinas FB. I'm gonna check that out. Hindi ko pa nakikita kasi yung cover photo ng BBP. I am usually kasi more active at IG nowadays. Kaya hindi ko nakikita. Nasa na ba tayo? Continuing yung comment ni Cici, hindi naman na-active si Madam since pandemic. 2020, super active pa siya. The first year na walang MUPH, pero nag-pandemic kasi. I agree. And also, during that time, very in precarious situation, lahat ng mga senior citizen. And I remember yung tawag ito, yung mga tita ko na mga senior citizen, they're not even allowed to leave the house. And I remember, because one of my aunts is a doctor. Kung minsan hindi pa siya allowed na lumabas ng bahay because of her age, because she's a senior citizen, she's around 71, 72 during that time, but she's still an active doctor sa mga hospitals. And I remember na the only time na nakakalabas siya is kapag ang sasakyan niya may nakalagay na doctor on call. So those are the only things na allows her to be able to to travel around. But I remember talaga na kapag senior citizen ka and you're in your 80s, you're quite fragile na. So yun, hopefully na sana makita pa rin natin si Madam in the next several years, that she's blessed with long life, dahil I'm hoping na na she would see the pageant in such a way that it is modernized, in such a way na inalagaan siya inalagaan siya ni SMA, makita niya din na inaalagaan din ng mga bagong generation of executive committee and members yung pageant na for her entire lifetime. She built it and she made it the most prestigious national pageant in the country. Saldi Salen says, Sir Jess, hypothetical question. What if Binibining Pilipinas creates a new international pageant? Do you think it's a sound idea? Your thoughts? I don't mind if they create their own international competition. But I think mahirap siyang gawin in this age and time where a lot of international competitions are there because of financial motivations. We all know what's happening with Miss Universe and the Miss Universe organization. We know how unique their for-profit na organization is. And we've seen how it affects, the Philippine franchise and other franchise abroad. Because of the bidding system, the annual bidding system, nagkakaroon ng transactional relationship ang international organization with the local partners. And I think that is something that is not aligned with the Binibining Pilipinas brand and with the Binibining Pilipinas owners thinking of partnership. Because you're looking at Binibining Pilipinas and the leadership of the BPCI and the Araneta group of companies from the old money na perspective. And old money values loyalty. And with the bidding system, with the for-profit system that is available for most pageant systems nowadays, the longevity of those pageant systems will not be as aligned with the Binibining Pilipinas brand and the Araneta group of companies' ideas and thoughts on loyalty. So yun yung nakikita ko magiging problema. That is where I believe the biggest misalignment is going to happen. They can if they want to, but they're not doing it because they don't want a international competition as a knee-jerk reaction for losing the Miss Universe na franchise, which is what I see from the Vietnamese na Miss Cosmo International, because there are a lot of pageant systems that have tried to topple Miss Universe as a brand. However, not all of them has survived. Not a lot of them, has succeeded, I believe is the right word. Because right now, Miss Charm International, we don't know if there's going to be a second edition because allegedly, the rumors are swirling around the pageant is that their sponsors have moved and are now involved with Miss Cosmo International, and they don't have any, or they have a serious lack of sponsors to keep the pageant afloat. The second thing is, we're not even sure kung ang Miss Grand International magkakaroon ng venue this year, because Myanmar, which is supposed to be their venue for this year, backed out because of political tensions there. Nowadays, allegedly, yung uncle ninyo is looking for other countries to host the pageant because he does not want it to be hosted in in Thailand. So these two pageants supposedly is said to be the next big thing. They're the pageant that's going to topple the Miss Universe organization, the Miss Universe brand. So saan sila ngayon? And if this is again the knee-jerk reaction of the Vietnamese former owner ng MU Vietnam na franchise, how long can we say if it's going to survive? If ngayon pa lang, first edition, maingay siya, people are saying na, oh, dyan, i-hire na nila si Paula Sugar to, to handle the pageant. That's again an uncertainty. Kasi we do not know whether or not this pageant is going to have sponsors long term. Kasi kung yung mga Vietnamese sponsors nila is very flighty na last year full support sila sa Miss Cosmo sa Miss Charm International, tapos ngayon this year full support sila sa Miss Cosmo International. Paano if in the next several years biglang may umusbong na naman na panibagong international competition based in Vietnam? What's gonna happen then? So these are the things that we need to understand. This is not the way the Aranetas are thinking in a business-like manner. So I do hope na sana, isipin din natin yung feasibility ng having Binibining Pilipinas establish their own international competition. It cannot be a knee-jerk reaction just because kulang sila ng franchise base sa paningin ng mga fans. There's a reason why Binibining Pilipinas is 60-year-old pageant. Hindi sila padalos-dalos sa desisyon. They're not looking at the decision-making process as we only are looking at the factors within this year, but they're thinking long-term. They're looking at feasibility studies of having an international competition on the long run. Will they be able to sustain it on the long run? Will there be enough resources in the long run? So, these are things na kinakailangan mong intindihin kapag gusto mong magkaroon ng international na competition, dahil hindi lahat ng pagkakataon you are, malalim ang bulsa mo na marami kang madudukot na pera. So, these are things that Binibining Pilipinas takes into consideration. Hindi sila basta-basta kung magdesisyon na kaya naman natin na magkaroon ng sarili nating international pageant. So what? Kaya mo nga, pero hindi mo naman kayang i-sustain. Diba? It's like you have a franchise, but yet you're not able to, to maximize your profits. Or you're not able to, hanggang gloss lang ang nakikita mo. Pero kapag tinignan mo yung finances mo, baon ka pala sa utang. Lahat ng pinambabayad mo sa franchise mo is borrowed from this person, from this friend, from this business partner. Where does it say that you are financially stable kung lahat ng mga finances mo galing utang? So these are things that you really need to, you really need to consider. Okay? Now, nasa na tayo sa ating mga comments. Let's take a look here. I think we're towards the end na ng ating mga comment section. Wait lang. Sabi ni Ribo Tobias, okay, yung iba sinasabi na slowly dying na ang Binibining Pilipinas. Laos na, nilalangaw na daw. Pero manonood pa rin naman sila sa Coronation. Tapos i-compare sa Coronation ng MUPH. Yeah, unfortunately, that will happen. And as of right now, we're expecting na they would find, faults. Because kung ang hinahanap mo is yung mali, makakahanap ka. Dahil people will not be convinced based on what they see, because they're gonna be convinced based on what they feel. And sometimes what they feel is subjective to them. And this is also the reason why there are people who, despite having receipts, having evidence, having tons and tons of physical evidence, they would not accept what they see because it has a cognitive dissonance in their brain that they will keep on pushing the narrative that they believe in. So it's a reality of life nowadays, especially for the younger set of mga pageant na mga pageant fans na andali nilang i-deny yung mga factual na mga evidences, mga fact-based evidences because they would believe on their version of truth rather than be convinced that ito yung totoo dahil ito yung ebidensya. This is also the reason why ang daming tao na millennials and even older na still believes na ang mundo ay flat. So these flat earthers, even if you give them empirical evidences, they would not believe it because they are so set in their ways and in their own, personal na mga narratives. Sabi ni Cici, at Archer Urbano, Binibining Pilipinas Pageant naman ang panonoorin sa finals night, hindi naman ang international na pageant. Sabi ni Cici, patay na si Betsy Brias November 2022 at age of 94. Okay? Sabi ni at Archer Urbano, sabi ni Cici, Miss Grand Philippines, panoorin mo if ang logic mo ay mas interested sa MGI ang fans. Unfortunately for a lot of Filipino fans, MGI is a dead brand here in the Philippines simply because we have been insulted, we have been emotionally abused by the owner of the pageant that a lot of us don't care anymore. If you're there for the gloss, then you're there for superficial reasons. Unfortunately, there's a lot of pageant fans who are very superficial and we cannot fault them for that. Okay? You cannot account for taste talaga. Okay? Uy, thank you very much Beyond the Scrubs for always supporting us. Maraming salamat for your generosity. Sabi niya, Sir Jason, thank you for always giving us great insights about pageantry. Wish ko talaga dumami din ang viewers and followers mo. Isa ka sa mga inaabagan ko lagi. I just want to show my appreciation. Thank you very much for that, Beyond the Scrubs. I have made peace long ago that because our brand in pageantry is very vastly different from the tastes of the masses. We have a very niche na market. I am happy with 7,000 plus na and growing na followers here on and subscribers here on YouTube. And if it meant that 7,100 plus na mga followers are quality, intelligent, mature na pageant fans, I would accept that. I would rather have that rather than have 100,000 na followers and subscribers but they don't bring anything new, they don't bring anything succinct or helpful or informative into the conversation. I would rather have, a small niche market that has maturity, intellect, smarts, and who understands the world at a much larger perspective, because that is where, community happens. You don't want huge number of people who are loyal to you just because you have the numbers. You want to have loyalty because they believe in the way that you deliver your content, you deliver, intelligent conversations and intelligent topics, because you know that there is value in the content that we do. There is value in the content that enriches lives of other people because they are pushed to be more smart, pushed to be more intellectually, challenged because of the conversations that we take in, are conversations that are hard, that not a lot of, vloggers can take and deliver and, and nitpick. So these are the things that I think makes us different from other channels who are there for entertainment. We want to be informative and at the same time entertaining, but we take pride in the fact that we put value as much as we can into our conversations. So thank you very much for that, Beyond the Scrubs. I aim to always, have quality over quantity, and quantity, it will come. The quality has to be there first, has to be established there first, because that is what people will, get back, that will draw people back in. Wow, I think we've covered everything that we wanted to cover in our conversation. 2 oras na rin tayo. It's like several seconds before we hit the 2-hour mark. Thank you very much for your comments. Let's just read, yung mga last na mga comments here. Mabuhay Philippines says, manonood ko po ba bukas ng parade ng Binibining Pilipinas? I will be there. There is a email invitation from us, for us from the Binibining Pilipinas organization. So we will be there. Nasaan na tayo? Rodwin Fiel, where's your comment? Sabi niya, Sir, ano pong ang aabangan pa natin activities ulit ng Binibining Pilipinas? The last open to the public na event ng Binibining Pilipinas is going to be the parade, and to a certain degree the exhibit, the Binibining Pilipinas exhibit, they will be having that later this week. So yun yung last 2 na events ng Binibining Pilipinas na open to the public. I've heard, again, chismis territory, I've heard that there will be one special event that is going to be by invitation only later on. Okay? Hindi pa ako pwedeng mag-chichi, but at least nasabi ko na sa inyo. Okay? Cici says, what will BBP and Araneta's gain from it? Parang stress lang gumawa ng international competition. Mag-host nga ng Miss International, hirap na. Totoo, kasi ang logistics kasi ang mahirap dun eh. Rodin Fial is asking, may Road to the Crown po ba this year? Wala. From what I know, there won't be any Road to the Crown, much like last year. Oliver, saan na ba ito? Oliver Goyal Ebriega says, regarding with the Binibining Pilipinas parade tomorrow, normally it's raining in the late afternoon. Matutuloy kaya kung umulan? May payong naman. And usually on my end, pupunta ako doon sa alam kong kapag umulan, may masisilungan na kaagad ako. Okay? Mabuhay Philippines is asking kailan po ang Binibining Pilipinas exhibit. Abangan nyo na lang siya next week, between the dates of 24 to 27, I believe, yung event ng Binibining Pilipinas. I will check my email kasi I forgot kung anong date nung nakalagay doon. Okay? Winston Francisco is saying, nakakamiss yung pa-lady whistleblower ni Sir. Wag muna. Saka na lang tayo magpaka-lady whistle down later on kapag meron tayong juicy na chichi na kinakailangang very subtle and subversive yung the way that we present it. Okay? So guys, let's look at the final numbers on the poll, because an overwhelming 42% of you says they would want a top 16 or a top 20 in Binibining Pilipinas finals night this year. 32% of you guys says they want a long runway as well as a very fabulous na stage. 17% is saying na lahat ng Miss International from the Philippines sana present. And 9% is saying na sana yung national costume yung opening nila. Okay? So, thank you very much for, the attendance, the participation in the live stream comments, and in the in the votes. the poll, it tells us that at least marami sa atin hinahanap yung top 16 na format, as you know, an ode din naman dun sa candidates na quality talaga yung mga sumasali sa Binibining Pilipinas. Okay, last few comments here. Sabi ni Binibini International, Sir Jason, not Binibini related. Ang lakas ng mga engagement ni Andrea Mesa around Latin America. Ang dami din. Andrea Rubio pala, sir. Ang dami kasing Andrea na queens. Yes, Andrea Rubio has a lot of international travels, if I'm not mistaken. She went to Peru, she went to Argentina, she went to Dominican Republic and Colombia, I think. I'm not sure dun sa last two, but in total, parang ang dami na niyang naging visits across Latin America and Asia during her reign. So kudos to the Miss International organization, because Andrea, much like Jasmine Selberg, is quite very much visible na reign, and I do hope na whoever wins Miss International this year would also be afforded the same number or more na travels for her. Sabi ni Mabuhay Philippines, sana makita kita bukas sa parade. If you see me, drop by, say hello, picture tayo together, selfie tayo together. Sabi ni Daniel P. Yuzon Jr., sabi, kita-kits tomorrow sa mga scripters. See you all tomorrow. Remember, 4 o'clock yung event. I will be there maybe a little bit later, because there is also another event at around 1 o'clock that I need to go to, but I will definitely be there covering the event. So guys, thank you very much for a very entertaining, very wonderful na live stream that we had. Thank you very much for the generosity in your time, in your resources, in your opinions and your thoughts, dahil ang daming mga comments na hirap ako kung minsan na humabol sa mga comments, and I do hope to see you guys tomorrow. I think it's going to be a very interesting na event, because this is the last remaining na public event ng Binibining Pilipinas. So don't miss your favorite candidates, dahil this might be the last time you will see them in public, because the next time that you're going to see them is going to be on the finals na. Okay, so thank you very very much for the support, the love, and I hope to see you in our next episode. See you in the event tomorrow in the Binibining Pilipinas Parade of Beauties, and pahinga na kayo. Have a great night and have a great weekend ahead. Okay, bye bye everyone, and see you in our next live stream.